Good evening and happy Gen Con week to everybody attending. We had a lot of news items drop today and yesterday, Monday and Tuesday of Gen Con week. So yeah, a little pre-Gen Con news update video is in order. Didn't have a whole lot late last week, not really enough to make a video off of. Kind of thought I would be doing a preview video a little bit earlier than I wound up doing one, but that's okay. We're here to get caught up heading into Gen Con. So first and foremost, as you've hopefully noticed, unless you're really buried, the previews for Set 3 have begun. Previews for Heroes Clash, the upcoming set. We do not have a release date yet. People are expecting, just sort of gauging on the preview cadence, where we're thinking late September, early October is sort of the guesstimate. That is not any sort of official anything or indication from Jasco Games. That's just sort of speculating based on the rate at which the previews are coming out and trying to guess at, how many cards are probably in this set and things like that. Yeah, so we'll have a busy couple of months with cards being previewed. It seems like every day. They're actually doing previews on weekends now, which they have not historically done. So really, every day we're going to see some stuff, and that should be pretty fun. So I'm going to be doing little side videos on those as we go. You see Endeavor was previewed today, so I've got him up in the box above. Not going to talk about him here. We're going to talk about each character and their kit in little videos as we go along. The starter videos are a little less because there's a lot of cards to cover, but that's okay. I'll link to the Eraserhead video in the description. His kit has been fully previewed. We should have the full Endeavor kit by the time Gen Con is over, and then we'll see where we go from there. Aside from that, we've had a lot of sort of announcements or clarifications about things about Gen Con. So if you're not going, not all of this is going to be super relevant to you, but some of it will be. First and foremost, they have announced some announcements, that there will be announcements at Gen Con, and that they will include something regarding the international situation, international organized play. So hopefully we'll finally find out, are they going to have that European Nationals? Are they going to have that Australian Nationals? Are they going to be able to fit any regionals in before those? That sort of thing. So that's exciting. We'll see what comes of that. It may be that these things don't actually happen until 2023, which would be a little disappointing, but hopefully they've managed to find a way to get something squared away before the end of the year. We'll see what's up with that. They also went ahead and posted kind of quietly. I think this only showed up on the Discord. I might be wrong, but they did a little post clarifying what their team's rules actually are, because some of the outfits that have been running their events, that have run team side events, have sort of made up their own team's rules. So they formalized, a little document, a little PDF. I'll link that in the description. But basically, if you've played Universes before, it's the same as it's always been. If you know anybody that's played Universes, they can explain it to you. But, for completeness, the way teams generally works in this game is that there are 3 individual matches. So you and your 2 teammates are all playing individual matches against people on the other team. A lot of card games work that way. I don't think that's too unusual. You do have a limit of 8 copies of a given card across your 3 decks. So you don't get to all play literally identical strategies. Pretty much there has to be some variance in your decks. And it usually doesn't come up in practice when you're deck building, as long as you're not like super trying to double up on the same symbol. If you're playing 3 different symbols, you probably won't have to worry unless they happen to be, the 3 symbols on a staple card like Heroic Lineage or something. So there's that deck building limitation. You also can't have the same character appear in 2 different decks. That includes, even if you're not starting the character, that includes this in the sideboard. If Kyokujiro is in my deck anywhere for any reason, my teammates cannot have her in their decks anywhere for any reason. So that this pretty much completely stops any team from bringing 2 identical decks. The one thing that is a little unique to this system, and that's one of the really cool parts about teams, is that before the match begins, you all reveal your characters, and then you do a roll-off. And the die roll winner, or I guess they could decide whether they want to pick first or pick second, but I'll have to double-check what... There's always some questions about that, but you pretty much always pick first, even if you win the die roll. But the die roll winner picks the first matchup. So they get to pick one of their 3 characters versus one of the other team's 3 characters and say, we want that matchup. And then the other team that lost the die roll gets to arrange the other 2. There will be 2 characters left on each side, so, you know, if my team still has Endeavor and Eraserhead and the other team has Asui and Jiro, I get to decide whether it's Endeavor Jiro and Eraserhead Asui, or Endeavor Asui and Eraserhead Jiro, right? So you kind of get to decide 2 matches that way. But the first pick gives you the big flexibility of picking what you think your best matchup is. Or trying to shut something up. There's a lot of strategy in it. I shouldn't get into it here. Also notably, there is no coaching in teams. You are not allowed to try to assist your teammates in playing their games. You know, some people don't really like that, but it starts to get really hard to police in terms of, especially with this game where it's a little hard to police things like slow play. You know, how much coaching is too much coaching? You get into these arguments about it, you know, when is it slow play? So there's, no coaching. You should be able to play your deck, basically, right? You can't rely on, you can't set your teammate up with a 10-minute deck and then have them slide over and help you with everything. So that is, they say in the rules, and it doesn't mean you have to be like dead silent. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to like have friendly banter, talk with your teammates or whatever, but just nothing that goes into telling them how to play the game or hinting at what plays they're supposed to be making or whatever. So that's cool. We have that solidified, so hopefully not only the Gencon team's events, but any future team's events are following the rules that they should be going forward. That's been a bit of a problem in some cases. I know in Orlando, teams kind of voluntarily followed these rules because they didn't really make anybody follow these rules in Orlando or in Vegas. Aside from that, a bunch of small notes. The Gen Con mats were confirmed. They will be $40 as expected. That's what they were at Anime Expo. That it lines up with the $40 to get a Capture Evildoers. So, that's right in line. They also did a little post today. They're going to make the mats on sale, I think, during Gen Con only via Core TCG is going to list them for sale on their website. Not really sure what the distribution of that is like. There are some stores that are not very happy that Core TCG is getting this exclusive deal, but is what it is. Maybe this is just the people they could set up something quickly with. I don't know. But if you hear some complaints about that, that's kind of a thing. Core TCG is not super popular with the brick and mortar stores out there. But in any case, you'll be able to go on there to get your Gen Con playmats. If you can't go to Gen Con, you can still buy them on there. You will not get the promo for buying them. So if that's what you're after, you're just going to have to get the promos in the secondary market. But if you just want the mats, you'll have this alternate way to get them. Also, they clarified that if you want the Gen Con promos that come from playing in events, that come from registering for provisionals or whatever, those are going to operate on pretty much the same way the provisional promos are. They're going to make you play 2 rounds if you want to pick up the promo. So I know there have been events where they've just gone ahead and given participation out when you've started. They did that in Orlando, and that was pretty popular. But for Gen Con, they will be going back to the norm where they don't want to give anybody any promos if they're not going to play in the event. So people have to decide, if they want to spend the 2 hours of their Gen Con, going through that, or if they'll figure out a way to get their meteor shouts via other means. And the same holds true for the board games. You have to actually play the board game and things like that. A couple other small notes. The Toronto regional signups are live. There are 18 of them so far. It's not looking great. You do need a passport, or if you're in a bordering state, there's like an enhanced driver's license you can get to get into Canada. So if you do not have one of those, it is probably too late. It probably was too late the moment they announced it. But if you do have one and you're able to go, it is a regional. It is going to count. I believe it's going to be the first Season 3 regional, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be at this Canadian National Exposition, which you'll need a separate entry for, but from the sounds of things, it's a pretty cool fair. It's not like a geek nerd thing. It's actually just like a sort of a normal county state fair kind of a thing that, from the sounds of it, is pretty cool. And the last little thing to touch on here, kind of a cool thing. ICV2 does these. This is a web, like an internet blog website publication. They do these top CCG lists every quarter-ish, a few times a year. And the MHA CCG broke the top 10 for the spring of 2022. This covers through the end of April. So it's sort of, they cited in the article, it's like just barely caught the pre-release of Crimson Rampage, so it'll be kind of interesting to see if it's still on the list for the next time. I'm not sure what the weight of pre-orders versus full set releases, or, you know, we'll have to wait until the last quarter of 2022 to see the Heroes Clash stuff show up. But yeah, I'll link to that article in the description. Kind of neat. Nice milestone. Cool to see MHA ahead of DB Super on a list of popular card games. That's a nice step. Good for the game. Good for growing. And yeah, that covers everything. Got through everything. Quick thank you to Espira for setting me up with real functional thumbnails. It was explained that trying to use the bullet list as a thumbnail doesn't actually work or accomplish anything. So he set me up with a quick Photoshop template that I can use. So I'll be using that to get these much more professional looking than anything my videos actually are thumbnails. Yeah, other than that, you know, I'm heading out to Gencon tomorrow. Most people are going to be arriving on Wednesday, and for any of you that are going, I will see you there. If you are not going, I will kind of obviously not really be posting any videos over the course of the weekend, but when I get back, I'll do the Endeavor recap. I'll do, you know, obviously a little news thing to catch up on all the stuff that was announced at Gen Con. Maybe anything that's not announced that we can sort of get through a grapevine of just talking to Jestco people there, that sort of thing, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, until next time, have fun if you're going to Gen Con. Don't forget to actually enjoy the con. If you're not, hopefully you enjoy the coverage. And yeah, see you next time.